When Emilia hugs a broken amnesia Subaru, it feels like watching a billionaire hand a golden crown to a starving beggar who lacks the teeth to even chew bread. The crown is magnificent. The beggar simply cannot open his mouth because he let her down. We live in a world starving for connection. Love. We seek it, we want it, we take it for granted. It is why the Isekai genre exists, and it is why the manosphere thrives. We want to believe that if we just find the right person, we'll be loved. But Tape Nagatsuki understands a terrifying truth. Love is a language that must be learned. If you never learn to speak it, being in love is a torture. In Ozark, Marty Bird is warned. If your love is conditional, it's transactional. Love doesn't keep score. To a cynic, transactions are safe. If a relationship is based on what you can provide, your money, your strength, your utility, you are in control. But unconditional love, there's no price. And to a boy who feels entirely worthless, a priceless gift is threat. To the hero Subaru, the boy who spent 100 lifetimes dying to earn his place at the table, Emilia's spring breeze is a sanctuary. It is a home he bled for. But to the amnesia Subaru, the lazy, self-pitying need who couldn't even find the energy to wash his own coffee mug, that is an itch he cannot scratch, like ants crawling beneath his skin. He didn't earn this. He doesn't know these people. In his mind, he's just a faker who woke up in a stolen body, occupying a life that belongs to that hero. Look at his reaction when Beatrice notices his scar arm. His immediate animal instinct is panic. She knows. She sees through my lie. Instead, she simply casts her healing magic, looking at him with absolute trust. That lie scorches him. The healing hurts worse than the wounds because he knows he does not deserve it. It is a cruel irony. Every closed scar in his hand is a new wound torn open his heart. This is the unbearable weight of love. Whether you're a prince or a neat, the weight of unearned crowns is the same. The prince drowns his emptiness in meaningless orgies and hollow sex. The neat drowns it in self-pity, internet forms and pawns, haunted by the same voice. If this is the real me, they will leave me. To understand what the Authority of Gluttony actually did to Subaru, we must look at this Book of Dead and Meili. Human society is far from a paradise, but even in the darkest corners, in war zones or in slums, our life is still defined by choice, to be or not to be. In the end, we become what we choose. But Meili was not. She was raised by magical beasts, and to a beast, life is simple: eat or be eaten. For starving dog, eating is everything. Meili looks like a little girl, walks like a little girl, and talks like a little girl. Fine, she isn't acting like a little girl at all. She's acting like Elsa. A smart, seductive, mature woman who knows exactly how to push a man's button, which brings us to Elsa. Elsa was a monster, but she was a human first. She grew up in a freezing mom, nearly violated, surviving only by tearing open the belly of a attacker with a shot of glass. She knew the world was slaughterhouse, but Elsa made a choice. She chose to love the heat of spilling blood. She chose to be a monster, and that is what set her and Meili apart. Until her last breath, Elsa knew killing was a choice. To Meili, killing was breathing. When gluttony ate Subaru's memories, it stripped away his choices. Without a scar tissue of his 100 deaths, without the moral compass built through pain, Subaru becomes Meili. When he wakes up in a cold stone room with Meili's strangled corpse at his feet, he does not do what the hero Subaru would do. He doesn't confess. He doesn't ask for help. He drags her body and hides it. Why? Because in his amnesia state, he thinks, if they find out, I will be killed again. Just like Meili has nothing to do with the real child, the Meili persona that haunts him in the library has nothing to do with the real Meili. It is his visualized fear, his unconquered fear. It is the exact same fear that made him a loser and a neat in his old world. The same thing that made him leave the dirty mark in the sink. The tragedy of this episode is a mirror. Meili was finally starting to trust someone. For the first time in her life, someone treated her as a person. She teased him. She followed him. She gave herself away. She loved as if her life depended on it. Good news, it did. Bad news, good things never last. Subaru choked her to death. In that last nanosecond, she felt it. Beneath the panic, beneath the pain, something deeper, something warm. The feeling of being trusted, the feeling of belonging, the feeling of being loved. For the first time in her life, she had touched happiness. And then, it was gone. Why are we so terrified of Llama? Look at internet comment sections. Everyone agrees. She's toxic. She's abusive. She's a monster. The modern viewer, cuddled by 1,000 anime where sweet, submissive girls exist only to please protagonists, looks at the Llama and hates the absolute limit. They want the cradle. They do not understand that the cradle is just a coffin with legs. What these viewers fail to realize is that to a coward, unconditional love is destructive. Consider the amnesiac Subaru. When Emilia offers him unconditional grace, what does he do? He hides. He lies. He covers up a murder and sleeps out in the night. Unconditional love is dangerous because it demands nothing in return. It's a warm greenhouse that rots the roots of plants. On the contrary, L'amour offers something far more valuable: unconditional expectation. L'amour has never hidden her disdain for the weak, self-pitying need that lurks beneath Subaru's skin. She despised him to his bones from the day they met. That is why she calls him Balusu. Yet, through his blood, he earned her trust. When she looks at this amnesiac Subaru, she sees a useless, cowardly boy who once wanted the world to solve his problem for him. And she refuses to look away. In JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Will and Sonia Zeppelin speaks the truth that transcends universes.
The North Wind made the Vikings. Courage must know fear and make fear its own. Fear upsets breathing. Conquer fear and your breath will never fail you.
Emilia is South Wind, warm, gentle, and sweet. L'amour is the North Wind. She's a freezing girl that forces Subaru to tighten his coat, stand up straight, and fight the frost. Emilia is the reason why Subaru fights, but L'amour is the reason why Subaru wins. Subaru became a loser in his original world because his reality was too soft. He could leave his dirty mark in the sink, retreat to his room, and blame others for his mistakes. He had no fear, and thus, he had no courage. All he had was a never-ending anxiety. What is Japanese called fuan. We must understand the difference. Fear is a natural response to a direct threat. It is something you can overcome. Anxiety is a suffocating state you enter when you spend an entire life avoiding fear, as Abe observes in the marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Fear is very natural. It's there to help you survive. It tells you to run when something large with teeth is going to eat you, or to duck when a rock has been thrown at your head. It's time you learn to live with fear, to accept it's there, and there is not enough tape in the world to keep you safe.
But Japan is a society built entirely on tape. It's a tape land. It's an invisible cage constructed to avoid fear at all costs, to maintain harmony. Problems are buried. When things go wrong, the system doesn't care about truth. It just needs a scapegoat, a saint eater, so that the Mina can go back to sleep. This is why visiting Japan and living in Japan are like heaven and earth. Sorry, earth and hell. Actually, hell and Japan. At least, hell is predictable. By putting risk avoidance and harmony above anything, Japan locks innocent people in prison and put everyone else in a cage. A criminal can count the days until he's free. A Japanese salaryman just watches anxiety increase day by day until he jumps in front of a train. Amnesiac Subaru is acting like a perfect product of his society. Meili is dead. Instead of facing the fear of truth, he buries the problem to preserve harmony. Look at the brilliant visual symmetry at the end of episode 76. Subaru wakes up in the green room, his hands now clean, Petra resting by his side. He sneaks out into the dark, and when the dragon finds him, Subaru puts his finger to his lips. Shh. He's begging her to help him hide his crime. He wants to keep the harmony intact. But when he reaches the stone room and looks at a corner where he hides Meili's body, he freezes in shock. The body is gone, and from the shadows, Lamu appears. She looks at him, and she puts her finger to her lips. Shh. It is a masterclass in visual storytelling. With a single move, Lamu shatters his illusion. She forces him to breathe in the cold air of his own consequences. True, if Auto were here, things would be much easier. Auto would have given Subaru a shoulder to cry on, but Auto is absent, and for the right reason. In his place stands Lamu, holding a mirror to Subaru's cowardice. She is mean to him, because she has a high expectation of the man he should be. She will never hesitate to show him his failure, which is the most precious thing in the anime. And in reality, to ignore his failure would be to treat him like an animal, or client, or Kakusama. Just as Subaru treated Meili as an individual by leading her to the room, Lamu treats Subaru as a human being by refusing to let him hide. We spoke earlier of Subaru's true superpower, his callus, the 6 scar tissue formed over 100 deaths. The amnesia boy in the green room has none of it. He's soft, raw, and terrified. He needs to rebuild the armor, and Lamu's ruthless judgment is a hammer striking the anvil. Look at what the Orange Subaru did for Julius Joculius. Julius is ultimate Seishain, the lifelong salaryman of the Lagunica social contract. He lived a predictable and correct life. He was the man society told you to be, handsome, disciplined, and successful. He wore his knighthood like a bespoke suit from a high-end tailor. But as we've seen in the real world, the suit is often the only thing keeping the man from falling apart. When Gluttony ate Julius' name, the suit vanished. He lost his title, his history, and his place in the world. He was ready to break. But Subaru looked at him and saw past the steel. Because Subaru had been stripped down to nothing 100 times over, he knew exactly how to look at a man who had lost everything. He defined Julius. In that moment, the pathetic need became the shining knight, and the finest knight became the helpless princess. Until you're happy with who you are, you will never be happy, no matter what you have. Subaru made sense of Julius. At long last, Julius knew who he was and what he represented. A man free to fail, free to live, free to love, free to lose, free to break away. Subaru could only save Julius because Lamu refused to let him hide in the dark. This is the ultimate lie of the Isekai genre. We watch these shows because we're exhausted by the repeated pace of the modern world. We want predictability. We want a south wind. We want to start from zero and fall into Emilia's cradle. But the ReZero refuses to give us that cheap comfort. Out of fear came forth courage. As the old saying goes, beauty in the cold temperatures is real beauty. There will always be another Emilia. There will always be another Lamu. The anime industry will keep producing new isekai and new wives, waiting to offer you a lap pillow. In weeks, months, or years, you will forget them like they never existed. Unlike real girls, they will never grow old and die. Like real girls, they fade from your life anyway. But there is only one Lamu. The warmth cradle soon cools, but the chill of freezing wind lasts. Lamu teaches you that the courage is knowing fear and making it your own. Do not forget your pink-haired tyrant. Nothing, as long as you live, will ever be more important